Hello, today is Monday the 11th of May. I'm Kerry Connolly and I'm bringing you greetings from slightly amended lockdown. The Moravian text passage that we're looking at today is Mark chapter 10 verses 13 to 31, and wow, it's a meaty passage. It's all about the upside down kingdom that Jesus came to preach, where so much of what we think we know gets turned upon its head. We see the children who are normally not of any status in Jewish society brought to him, and he gives them status and recognition. He gives them time and attention, and he challenges his disciples' attitude to them. And the rich man, who Jesus tells both him and his disciples that his status, his wealth and his good deeds won't save him. His disciples are flummoxed. And Jesus concludes this moment with them by saying, many who are first will be last, and the last first. There's some serious rethinking required here. This story of the rich man has impacted me hugely over the years. It's changed me. My view of love has been so shaped by ideas around being nice, by my Britishness, by my desire to be liked even. So this interaction never fails to provoke me. We're told that the challenge Jesus gives to this man comes after he has looked at him and loved him. And then he lets him walk away. There's no renegotiation. There's no persuasion. Love isn't coercive. It's not manipulative, and it's not compromising. This must have been painful for Jesus to let him walk away, but he does just that. There is such wisdom to be plumbed here, and I encourage you to return to this passage at any point for the lessons that it has for us. But today I really want to focus on the children, because that's what struck me when I was reading this through. The passage tells us that these are little children. I don't know if you've ever tried to take a little child to greet somebody who you feel should be greeted, whether it's an elderly relative or an esteemed guest at church or a visitor to your household. My experience is that they're not often that compliant about that. They don't really like being handed over to relative strangers. Even if it's somebody they've met before, they would prefer to stay with their caregiver. So then that makes me think, as I enter this passage with my imagination, what was it about Jesus that meant that the only people making a fuss in this scene were the disciples? The children were only to be too happy to be gathered up into his arms and blessed by him. And as I think about that, I imagine the gentleness of Jesus. I imagine the kindness of Jesus. I imagine the twinkle of humour in his eye. And I imagine that the children instinctively picked up on the positive and genuine regard that Jesus had for them. Jesus is very clear in this passage. Simple trust in him is of higher worth than social status, than religious observance, than success or material wealth. More than that, simple trust in him is the only way to enter the kingdom. So much in our lives is upside down at the moment, and so many things that we felt certain of are being rocked, a bit like the disciples in this passage. It's good to spend time with the one who knows what's really needed. So I just invite you this morning, maybe once you've finished listening to this or watching this, just to spend a little bit more time in the passage, doing what I was talking about before, just imagining Jesus interacting with the children. And I wonder what you will notice or recognise about him, or even yourself as you do that. Maybe as we enjoy those thoughts and discoveries, for a moment we can allow ourselves to become a little more childlike in our trust, letting go to him the things that are worrying us at the moment, the weights and concerns of this time. And I just want to finish with a Spurgeon quote that I heard the other day, which was a real blessing to me. God is too good to be unkind, too wise to be mistaken. When we cannot trace his hand, we must trust his heart. Amen.